everyone, I'm so sorry I'm late. I had to wait 2 minutes for the backup to come on. We had load shedding and I forgot to check, so I apologize. All right, I've waited a bit long now, so I'd still like to hear where you're from. What province are you from? I'm specifically like checking that to see if there are any non-Gauteng people joining us for the stream. Please let me know. All right, we're going to continue today with the June 2023 paper from the Department of Education, and we're going to look at access, HTML, and the general question today. If you have a question, please just keep it, maybe keep it kind of till the end of that question that I'm doing, just to check if there isn't maybe one that's an example like that, and then please put a Q in front of your question so that it's easy for me to see and hopefully not get so distracted. Right, hold on. Before I do that, I just need to, yes, my highlighter is on. Okay, so I'm going to get cracking. I hope everyone is doing well. Let's go down to question 5. Right, Transvalia, Gauteng. Hi, Michaela. Welcome, welcome. Right, let's jump in. We're going to start with access, question 5, the database. Right, so they say the 5 tours database stores information regarding bookings for tours and activities in and around Cape Town. Right, they say accept or approve any messages if they appear. I'll give you some examples just now. Right, open the 5 tours database. So let's get cracking on that. Right, I think it's only not giving me this warning because it's saved on my local PC. Usually it gives this little warning at the top that says you need to still enable the content. Please always click enable content. Don't just dismiss it. Actually click on the enable option. Hi Peter from Hope School. Nice to have more people here. Glad to see everyone. Right, let's see what they say. So we're starting with the database, and the first question is always the table question. Afrikaans people, you can follow along in the Afrikaans. You're welcome to post your questions in Afrikaans as well. As you'll hear from my English, I'm actually Afrikaans, so I make the occasional grammar mistakes as well. Right, so 5.1, open the table 5.1 table in design view. All right, so we're always going to be working in design view most of the time. Right, so 5.1 table, if I just double click it, it immediately opens in Datasheet view. I right click and choose design view to actually get it open in design view. Right, so let's have a look. I always like just quickly having a look around and seeing what's going on. It's always good to have a look at the descriptions to see if there's anything that you kind of need a clue with. It always helps to check the descriptions. Right. So here are my different fields: name, surname, ID number, client reference, what. And if we go to Datasheet view, you can either go here to Datasheet view, or I quite like clicking it here at the bottom right. That's the easiest, so that you can, basically it doesn't matter what ribbon or what menu you're on, you can always use that bottom to switch. All right, now you'll see on this side the fields display horizontally, and on the design view, it shows it in a vertical list. Right, let's get cracking and see what the first question is. 5.1.1, modify the properties of the ID number field as follows. Now, before I even read what I need to do, just go to the right field, super important. ID number. If you do the full correct answer, but you do it on the wrong field by accident, you get no marks. Super important to do it on the right field. Right, set an appropriate field size. Okay, let's see. It says ID number of tourist. Let's go to Datasheet view. And they have an example here. So it looks like it's basically like the same format as our South African ones. So if you want to, you can count, but I already know it's 13 characters long. Right, so the appropriate field size would be 13. Right. So we're not accommodating other options. We're accommodating what the data we're kind of seeing and what we can imagine. I think this is probably tourists from inside South Africa. We don't know what ID numbers or passport numbers look like from different countries. Right, next question, or next part says, set the field properties so that records are uniquely identified. All right, so lots of people thought you need to do indexed and that you change index to no duplicates. That's not what we need to do. Because it actually doesn't say just prevent duplicates. It actually specifically says that we want to uniquely identify each record by this. So that means I have to include it, or I have to insert it as a primary key. So I can either right click over here and choose primary key, or I can go click primary key at the top there while I've got the ID number selected. Happy days. Oh. You'll have to excuse me, person from Jeugland. I'm not that good with all the kind of names. Kiamohetswe, something like that. Welcome. Glad you're here. Right. Guys, I worked in the UK for a while in a call center, and then like they only show you the name of the person that you have to talk to the second the phone starts ringing. Okay. And it was like the weirdest names. It was like these Russian surnames that was like 26 letters long. And sometimes I'm just like, hi, may I please speak to Mrs. K? Because I just didn't know. So sorry if I get your name wrong. That just brought up a memory now. All right. Let's go to 5.1.2. Add Safari as a value list option to the experience field. Okay, so let's go to the experience field. There you go. And they said we've got to add Safari. Let's just see what's going on with the experience field at the moment. These little messages we need to accept. So we say yes, we want to save. And some data might be lost. That's not an issue. We always say yes. Okay. So experience, at the moment, it has options for adventure, biking, hiking, culture, and romance. And we need to include Safari as an option there. Do you see? It says Safari, we need to add as a value list option. Hi, Jelly Bean from Benoni. Right, let's go to design view. Right, so because there's already a value list, there's already a drop down, we just want to go edit the existing one. We're not creating a new one. If we were creating a new one, we would use this drop down and use the lookup wizard, but we're actually just editing the one that's there already. So we go to the lookup tab. It is a value list, happy days, and we need to add Safari. So we just see what the rest looks like format-wise, like how's it typed in. It seems it has a semicolon and then the word. So Safari. Happy days. Right, next one, or next part of the question. It said, change the lookup properties so that tourists can choose more than one option as an experience type. Right, so that means they need to have multiple choices. So let's have a look here what we can change here. Display, row, bound, column, allow multiple values. There you go. Now, I can go use this drop down, but just so you know, little life hack is if you double click in the field, then it actually rotates between the different options that's available in that drop down. It always gives you a warning when you choose something, when you change a field to a multiple value list, because you can't undo it afterwards. We're saying yes, they told us to accept all messages. And just a little note on that, you don't ever have to worry about accepting messages because I don't think I've ever seen a paper where queries, forms, or reports are actually based on the table that you're editing. They always ask you to work with another table, one or two that they provide in the other objects like the queries and so forth. So it won't mess up anything else for you. But a good practice is to, every time you change something, do a save right then and there so that you can see if something is not able to save, then you'll know you did something wrong. If something is not able to save and you don't know how to fix it, then you can actually use your snipping tool to just cut a little piece from the screen. Best is actually to cut like everything. Cut like that and save this as the question number in your file so that the teacher can mark what you attempted. Right, so you can do that as well. I'm going to do questions when I'm done with the table. All right. Next one is 5.1.3. Change the properties of the date field to only accept dates from the beginning of July 2023 to the end of August 2023. All right, let's first do that. So date, okay. Now, the best thing is when you're working with date and time, to just go and look at your data. Go to the datasheet view and see in what format it's currently displaying. This is basically like a rule of thumb. The safest thing is to actually go enter it in the same format that you're seeing here. Okay, so it's showing me a short date format and it's starting with a year. So that means that's the format I'm going to enter it in. Right, they want from the beginning of July. So let's go do that. Validation rule. That's where we can say that it needs to be specific values. Right, validation rule. So from the beginning of July, so that will be, I'm gonna do it as a between the 2023, they said 2023, yeah, 2023, 07 for July, 01, okay, and to the end of August 2024, so 2024, 08, and August has, what, April, May, June, July, August, 31 days, all right, /31. Okay, you'll see the moment I click away, it actually puts little hashtags next to the dates. And that's what should happen. If it doesn't happen, then the computer is not picking it up as a date. So that's actually a good way of testing whether it works. You could also have said, instead of between the start date and the end date, because it includes those, hey? You could also have said, instead of that, you could have said greater than or equal to and less than equal to. All right. Those are the two options. Then we want to display an appropriate message if the date is entered incorrectly. Do you see, by the way, how I'm working through the paper? I'm actually highlighting the pieces that I'm doing so that I don't lose track of maybe missing something or that I skip over something. This is quite a good trick because if you don't do that, it's inevitable that at some place you're going to miss some or other instruction. Right, so an appropriate message if the date is entered incorrectly. So now validation text, we can't say greater than or equal to, you can't word it like in a mathematical kind of wording. You've got to word it in a way that the standard average user who doesn't have cat as a subject would be able to understand it. So you can often just use the words from the paper. Okay, so you can just say has to be from beginning July 2023 to end of August 2024. Something like that. Okay. Right. Welcome, Andile. Right, from Carlton and Hoërskool Elandspoort, Barcelona. Right. Okay, so that's the validation rule and that's the text message. Just have a look at the mark allocation. This will count one mark, the and counts the second mark, and the other date, less than, counts the third mark. So if they had like not that obviously said they want a validation text as well, but it counts 4 marks, then perhaps it's safest to put it in. The rule when we're marking is that if you do more than we ask, we're supposed to ignore it as long as it doesn't affect anything negatively. All right, so if you're unsure, it's safer to do a little bit extra than too little. Right, 5.1.4, change the picture field as follows. Set an appropriate data type so that a tourist can upload their ID photo. All right, so ID, no, I'm creating, there's picture. Okay, there you go. I need to change the data type first. So over here, I've got to choose. Right, so they need to be able to upload a photo. So that could be either attachment or OLE object. OLE object is a object linking element. So that means it can be a picture, like an audio file, just a PDF or whatever as well. Attachment usually allows more than one attachment. We're just going to use one photo, but let's see. it doesn't actually allow attachment sometimes. So this time we know the other one is then OLE object. I didn't choose hyperlink because it said upload. It didn't say link to a photo of their ID. Right. Peter, I am from Gauteng, Hoërskool Randburg, Afrikaans school. Okay. Move the field to appear below the ID number field. Okay, so now we're moving it. All right. So to move a field, you have to click in 2 steps. You click the first time with a black little arrow, and then the second time you actually click and drag with a white arrow, and then you can drag it. Okay, if you try to do it in 1 step, it just selects the different fields. Right. Okay, below the ID number. Yes, we did it correctly. Next one. Change the properties so that the heading ID photo will display in Datasheet view instead of the heading picture. Do not rename the picture field. Okay, note. So, picture. Now they said we're not allowed to change the field, but we have to change what's going to show in Datasheet view. So let's have a look at the field properties. If I click on the field properties, it always describes to me what it does here on the side, on the right-hand side. So a caption is the label for the field when used on a view. Sorry, you can't see it because my face is in the way. Let me resize it a little bit. I forgot to do that last night or yesterday with the Excel, so apologies. If there's something you didn't know how to do with the Excel because my face was in front of it, please just comment on that video and I'll explain to you. Right, so it says, the label for the field when used on a view. If you don't enter a caption, the field name is used as the label. Ah, okay, so used on a view, like Datasheet view. So they said, we've got to make it ID photo. Right, so I'm going to change the caption ID photo. So the caption is ID photo, but the field name is still picture. Now, if I go to Datasheet view, save, yes, it's always going to give these messages about data integrity and what. Don't worry. Right. So now you'll see here it says ID photo. But if I use it in a field or like in another object, like in a query or in a form or somewhere, then it's still going to use this original field name, the picture. Okay, so there we go. We're done with that one. That was a new question that we haven't had before. All right, now they say switch to Datasheet view. Right, so switch to Datasheet view. Now we want to change the color of the grid lines to black. Let's do that first. So the easiest for the formatting regarding the fields and the lines and whatever is over here by text formatting. If you open this dialog launcher, that's where you get all the options easily. So the grid line color must be black, and let's just use like standard colors is always the safest to use. See when I hover over it, it actually says the name black. Please use that. And don't just choose a shading of something yourself, because they have to accommodate people who are colorblind as well, and therefore the colors have to be exactly the name that they specified. Right. Then set the option to display only the horizontal grid lines. Okay, so horizontal grid lines will be that one. So I'm going to untick vertical, and then we've just got horizontal grid lines. There you go, we're done with the table. Right, save and close the 5.1 table. So save. Before I close, let's quickly see some questions. Hi, I've got a few other people joining. Kuliso, fortunate, nice to see you here. Right, the nested if that you want me to redo, I'll do that at the end of the stream. If there's enough time, let's have a look. Otherwise, please just go and look at yesterday's video and just play it a bit slower. Otherwise, I'll have a look to, if I can do it at the end. For now, I just want to focus on access and on HTML. Can I ask, is there anyone here who has any questions about tables in Access before we move on to queries? Any Access ones? Tsegofatso, nice to see you, Brits. Okay. Any questions regarding tables? Everyone happy? The one thing they didn't ask this time was an input mask, but let me quickly chat to you about that. You see this client ref They could have easily asked an input mask from that, where they could say, create an input mask that works for this field. To do that, you'll see here, it shows me, I can see the first letter, the first character is always a letter. Do you see that? And then it looks like this one is also a letter, hey? That's an O, it's not a 0. So the first character is a letter. The second character is a number or a letter, if I can look at that example. And then there are 2 further numbers, or it can be up to 4 numbers. Okay, so the last 3 characters can be 3 numbers, it can be just 2 numbers extra after that second character. Okay, so 2 to 3 numbers. Right, so if we have a look at that, let's use the input mask sheet at the bottom. There you go. So I'm going to need this one for compulsory numbers. Okay, it must be required. Do you see? For optional numbers, I'm going to use a 9. So there is one optional number. I'm going to use it. The entry is not required. For compulsory letters, I'm going to use this capital L. Do you see? Letter, entry required. And for something that can be a letter or a number, I have to use an A if it's compulsory, or a small a if it's optional. Right. If I want to make the first letter a capital letter, I have to use the greater than. Right. So if we had to do an input mask for this table, it would work like this. First character is always uppercase, and it seems to always be a letter. So I'm going to make the first one, was it now? Client ref, yes. Client ref, input mask, greater than, L, always a letter, the first one. Second part can be a letter or a number. Do you see that? We have the other ones are all numbers, but the first one is an example with a letter because the O is larger. So it is a second letter that is optional, or it could be a digit. So that means it's going to be a capital A, because that's a letter or a digit that is required. Right, so third digit or third character is a number, a number, a number, a number every time. Okay? Fourth digit is a number every single time. You see that? But there is one that's got a fifth digit, which is a number. Okay, so that means I'm going to put in 0, 0 for the 2 compulsory numbers, and a 9 for the optional number. Okay, that's what an input mask would have looked like. An input mask, the purpose of an input mask is to control which type of characters can be entered in each position. Right. Okay, I've got a few questions. Let's have a look. So, please explain validation text. Right, validation text, let me show you, because we did that here now by the date. Okay. Validation text is an error message for the people who enter something wrong. So, I've put in my rule that says the dates has to be between July and August, July 2023 and August 2024. So now, if I put in a different date in the new record, the one with a little star. Now, if I put a different date in there, let's put 2023 0502, for example. While I'm typing it, it doesn't give me an error. But the moment I press tab, then it brings up the validation text. That validation text tells me I made a mistake and I'm breaking the rule. But instead of just giving me the actual rule, it's giving me like the rule in text format that a normal user can understand. All right. Now that I've tested it, now I need to go back to design view. So if I want to go back to design view, I can't just go click view. It's actually going to carry on giving me an error. And I don't want to fix that. So do you see there's a little pencil here at the moment for this record? So I have to undo until the pencil is gone before I can go back to my design view. Do you see the pencil is gone? There's now just a star. Then I can go to design view. Okay, and then I can carry on. Right, I've got a few questions here. Let's see what other questions. So validation text, the picture changing name thing. All right, so Mahlodi, let's quickly see. Picture is the field name. That means it's the name that's going to be used in a query, in a form, in a report. But it's possible to actually have a different display name. So that's just the name that's going to display like as the label, or in this case as the heading of the table in that column. And that's what I'm doing there by caption. It's the first time it was asked. I just know that that's what I'm going to use because I was reading the description next to the side here. So you'll see the field name is picture, but the caption is ID photo. That's why ID photo is the name that shows there. All right, formula in the table. All right, I'll do a formula in the table now. Let's do that. Okay, so let's say I had to do an extra field where I had to determine how many days ago this person, I don't know, whatever that date is. Do they say what that date is? Date for a booking. All right, let's say how many days have passed since the date of the booking. Then I can do an extra field. It probably won't be past, it'll probably be in the future. So let's say how many days until the booking. So days until booking. And my data type needs to be calculated. Now, tip, if you first choose another data type, often you can't change it to calculated then. Then you need to delete the whole field and start from scratch. Right, so here I've got my expression builder that automatically pops up. Now I can say I want this date minus today's date. Today's date in Access is date, bracket open, bracket closed. The same as in Excel when we use today. Right, so let's say that'll be how many days have passed. Let's see. Oh, it can't be used in a calculated column. Oh, that's a pity. All right, so sometimes some functions don't work in a calculated column. That's interesting. So I'll have to go get today's date value. Let me quickly do that. So I'm now making things up here and hopefully not confusing everyone. So today's date, the numerical value for today's date is 45167. So in this case, if I'm not able to use a function, I'm going to replace that with a fixed value. That's today's date's value. You could possibly have put it in as a date format, but I'm not sure if it would have worked. It's safer to do it this way. Right, because I'm working with dates, it automatically thinks that the format should be date. So I've got to change the format. I can even do it here on the table fields tab. I can change the format and say, no, it actually mustn't be date. Oh, it's not letting me change it here. It should be number. Let me change it to, no, that's just inserting a new field. Let's go back to design view. Delete this one. And this one, I want to change the result type, not date and time. I want it to be a number. Now all these double integer, long integer, etc. are numbers. So I'll just use double. That's just like the first one. There you go. See, now it shows how many days are still left until their booking. All right, that is that's calculations in tables. Now, how do you ensure information will display in capital letters? So let's say experience had to be all caps, experience. So it's not about how they enter it. It's just that if it's already there or after they've entered it, it needs to automatically be all caps. Then in the format space, in the format property, I'm going to put in just a greater than, and then it will change everything to uppercase. Where did I put that now? Experience? Experience. Why is that not working? That's very strange. Save, close, open again. I've never had that not work. That always works. Experience. Let's try something else. I'm going to try it on name. Let's see if it works there. There you go. There it works. Don't know why the other one doesn't work. Access has lots of funny bugs in. All right. So that's how I do capital letters. How to add a compulsory value on the input mask. So a compulsory, you can't change. You can't say what letters they want to type, or they have to type, or which numbers they have to type. You can just say that they have to type a number, or they have to type a letter, and that is based on the input mask. So if we just go back to that, you'll see they actually work in pairs. The first two both relate to digits, okay? The third one actually also does, it just has plus and minus included, okay? But it's always like required, not required, letters, required, not required, optional, you see? So that means this one, you're making it compulsory. So that means it has to be, they have to enter a single letter. This one means it has to be a single letter or a digit. Has to be entered. Can't put in a symbol, for example. That's how they work. So the large A and the small a, uppercase and lowercase, work together. The and the C work together. All right. Please explain what the primary key is. Right. A primary key, we had to insert primary key so that we can use this field to uniquely identify value, or uniquely identify the records. Right. In a database, we don't want like a full record that repeats, all right? So if I'm working in a shop, I don't want more than one entry for the same product. I don't want to put a Coke 500 milliliter twice by accident. I just want to enter it once. So I'm not going to make every single field that there can't be duplicates, because like the brand name will be Coke, the next one will be Fanta, whatever. And I can't make the milliliters that it can't be duplicates either, because different cool drinks will all have the same milliliter value. So I have to find a field, one of the pieces of information of the Coke, of that record, that will be unique for every single record. Like it can't repeat for anyone, and every single record will have that information. So for a product in a store, that will be the barcode. Okay, so in this case, we had to use the ID number as the field that will uniquely identify it. So that's what I did there. Right, why do I use the hashtags for the date? I didn't use the hashtags for the date. It is added automatically. That is what shows that Access is actually recognizing that this is a date. Okay, that it's in a date format. I didn't enter that. It enters it automatically. You can enter it, but I like not entering it so that I see if it adds it automatically, then I know I successfully entered a date and it's not having any problems with the format. Right. I don't know what a secondary key is. I'm sorry. That's probably IEB work. Secondary key, very complicated things with relationships and what. And more than one table that's related to one another. And we don't do that in DBE. So sorry, I can't tell you that one now. Right. Let's carry on. So I hope that's everything with tables. Let's carry on with a form. So the next question, let's just go back up. Right. Open the Form 5.2 form based on the table activities table. It's good to know on which table it's based. Sometimes it's good to actually just go and look at that table and see what's going on there. We've got a tour name, experience. That looks like in the morning they're doing something, in the afternoon they do something on this tour experience, nighttime. Does it have transport or not? How long it is? Duration, don't know. And cost per person. Okay, keep that in the back of your mind. Now we're going to Form 2, open. Okay, at least it works on this side, but they actually said we need to open it in Design View. So we're going to go to Design View. They say modify it as follows. Change the display when property of the image so that the image will only display on screen. So there's a display when property. Haven't done that before. So just give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to move my face out of the way for this picture. Or let me just go to a blank screen. There you go. And then you can see the property sheet, because we're going to work on the property sheet now. So for the picture, if I've opened the property sheet, I can do it here on the Form Design tab. I always remember that the Design tab goes with the Design View. Right. So there's my property sheet. I can open my property sheet. Whatever object I click on, it will show me those properties. If I haven't clicked on anything, it shows me the properties for the whole form. So I want to change something of this picture. At the moment, it's like I don't actually know what's going to change with this display when. Let's go see what options there are. So we click on the picture to find it, and then now we need to go check, and we have to look for the display when property. So best is actually usually to use all so that you can actually get all of it. And then just scan down here and see where you can get display when. There you go. There's display when, not always. Okay, print only, screen only. So I'm assuming it must be screen only. I haven't played around with that property yet. You don't need to know what all the properties in the forms and the reports and whatever does. You just have to read carefully and see what property they're asking for. Okay, so we've done that. It doesn't look like anything's changed, but yeah, now it works. Maybe if we say print, it won't show now. Let's see. Print preview. Would you look at that? Now it doesn't actually show the picture. Okay, so that's what it meant, but we didn't actually have to worry about what it meant. Okay, next part, close the property sheet of the question, says apply conditional formatting to the duration field to compare records in a yellow bar color. Okay, yellow bar. Display the bar only. All right, so let's go have a look at what that is. So duration, I need to compare the records. So I'm assuming that I'm comparing this 240 with 480 basically. Okay, let's go see how we do that. Let's just go to conditional formatting. So I can see, can I right click? There's conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is also on the format tab. Right. So we're creating a new rule and it's for duration. You'll see I'm actually clicked on the right side of duration, not on the left side. The left side is the label that displays. The right side actually links to the field, and that's where the data shows. So conditional formatting, new rule. Right, so I'm actually not going to check this value for the current record. You see, now I can say, okay, if the field value is less than or greater than or whatever, and I'm not comparing it to itself or like to a value that I'm specifying. I want to compare it to the other records. Okay, so I found the right thing. Let's just go see what they said again. So they say they want a yellow bar color and we need to only display the bar. So let's change the bar color to the standard yellow. See, there it shows the name. Okay, and I only need to show the bar. There's the show bar only option. Let's tick that and say okay, apply. Okay, doesn't look like anything changed, but we can only really see once we go to form view. Here as well, you can click it on the home tab, or you can go to the form view here at the bottom right. And there you go. It actually shows a bar longer and shorter depending on the value. So you saw in the beginning, like the first record was 240 and the second record was 480. So that like shows double the length. There you go. Right. So done with forms. Let me think if there's anything I can show you here that you would need. They can ask calculations here. So let's do a quick calculation. Let's say if it's cost per person and I want to work out how much it would be for 3 people. Okay. Then I'll use a text box. I'll put in the text box and I'll say equals cost per person times 3. Right? And you'll see the moment I click away, it puts square brackets around my field name. So the name was cost per person. It actually puts square brackets around that. And then I can say cost for 3. Right? Now let's say we want this to look the same as this. Fastest way to do that with format. So on the format tab, there's a format painter, same as yesterday. Click the format painter to copy the formatting and then paste it so that it actually applies it there. Right, and if they showed that it has to be bigger or smaller, then we can just move it like that. Sometimes they ask us to rearrange fields, so then I'd have to like make things larger and I can click and drag over them all and move them around as I need to. Okay. The other thing that's asked quite a lot in forms is to actually give a drop-down list, to make a drop-down list option. So Let's quickly see if we can do something like that. Which one would we use? Let's go to form view. I think experience would be a good one for that, hey? We have adventure, biking, culture, hiking, romance, safari. I'm never going to remember all of those. Just going to screenshot it quickly. There you go. Oh, no, that screenshot is nowhere. Let me just paste that somewhere so that I can see it. My shortcut for that, for a screenshot, is Windows. Is it Windows Shift S? Yes, Windows Shift S. Okay, let's go make a drop-down list in the experience here. So I'm not doing the paper now, I'm just showing other things. So right-click. I want to change this one to a drop-down. So change to combo box. List box shows all the options. Combo box just shows a little drop-down arrow. Okay, that by itself just gives you the arrow. It doesn't actually provide the values that people can choose from. So if I want to provide the values that people can choose from, I can right-click and go to properties again. Okay, now we're changing the things that's available in the little drop-down. Hey, so we're working with the data of the drop-down. The type that we want, the row source type, in this instance, we're not going to get the values from a table. It's not smart enough to be able to look at that table and then only use every value once. We have to do that, or we have to make a separate table. Otherwise, what we can do is we can change it to a value list, and then the row source is where we type the different options. So I'm going to click on the 3 dots, and I'm going to say adventure, biking, culture, hiking, romance, and safari. Okay, now do you see what that looks like? Now if I go to form view, it actually shows me those different options in the drop down. All right, is everyone still fine? Any other questions regarding forms? Other things I can think of is they sometimes like hide the page header or form header or something. If you've got to fill in your exam number or your question or like your name or something, you'll do that in a label, not in a text box. I always remember the text box looks like Excel because it has a little block. So that's how I know it's got to do with something technical. It's either a calculation or it actually links to another field. If I need to include a field that's not already in the form, but I want it and it's from the report, I can choose add existing fields, and then I can actually drag and drop something that actually, it just pulls it in like that. Right, any other form questions? Everyone happy? And I showed lots of stuff that you didn't actually need for this paper, but it's all like curriculum content and stuff that's often in the papers. Oh, if you need to insert anything else, like just hover over these and check. There's a chart. You can actually get charts in Access. You can do, that's the best one to use for image. This insert image doesn't always have all the pictures that you need, like all the format types. Okay, I don't even know what that is. Subform, option, button, attachment. The other one they ask from time to time is a button, to actually do like a, yes, the live stream is available on the same link afterwards. Okay, I'll do the background color just now. A button is sometimes asked to like do a next or a print report or something. So if let's put a button in the header, and I actually want to say go to the next record. So that's a record navigation. Here I can choose which like category is it. Is it a whole form thing, like I want to close the form or print the form or something, or is it just got to do with the records? It's the records. I want to go to the next record. Go next. I want a picture. I can choose one of these pictures, or I can put text in. Don't want text, I want picture. Next, and then I can give it the name next. Finish. Right, so a button then does that. You see how it goes to the next record. Okay. How do you insert a hyperlink in the form header? I'm imagining you'll probably do no, not attachment. That one, link, there you go. There's the hyperlink. Then you can choose what you want to link to. Let's link to another file. Let's link to file 4. That's the text that's going to display. Okay. And there you go. I'm assuming that kind of thing. Control click and then you can open it. Yeah, don't worry. There you go. Hold on. Open. Happy days. Right. Any other questions? How to change the background color. Let's quickly do that. Right. So the background color is actually per section. So form header is the one section, detail is the other section, form footer is the different section. So you can't change the color for all of them at one time. You'll have to do it one by one. You can right click and choose fill back color and change it to a different color, whatever color they say. Or if you want a picture to appear in the whole background, I think to do that, you actually go to the properties of the whole form. So property sheet, and I just clicked outside the form, or I can change it here that I'm not looking for a form footer or a form header. I'm just working with the form as a whole. I think there is somewhere where I can put in a picture. You see, here I can choose a picture and then it puts the whole picture in the background. Let's not do that. That looks terrible. Okay, but you get the idea. Right, how do you do a form in the footer? Tina Marie, if you get asked that, that is also, I don't know if that's IAB, but you're not gonna, I don't know if that's, let me just open my screen a little bit bigger that I can see your comments properly. Oh, how do you do a formula in the footer? Sorry. Okay. I would do this exact formula, or this is a formula. I would do this exact thing and I can just go do it in the footer. So I can move this one now that I've done it, not on the gray box, then it doesn't move there. If I move it on the orange, I can move it there. So it's exactly the same. You'll just use a text box and you'll put in whatever calculation you need. If you need something like the date or the time, you can also do that here at the top, date and time, click it. Automatically, it includes the date and the time. So let's say I just want the date and I want it in that format. I can say okay, and it automatically puts it here in the header, and I can then move that to different sections if I need it there or if I need it in the footer. Okay. Right, I hope that's it for forms. Let me know if you're happy, if there's anything else. I think that's it. Didn't see any other questions. Let's close that for now. Save yes. All right, next up. I hope everyone is learning. Are you learning a few things? Anything that, that's working for you, that's like a new thing? Please do redo 5.2. No, I'm not going to redo the whole 5.2. Sorry, Lindo. You can rewatch the video after the stream. Okay, sorry, there's not time for that. Okay, let's do the next question, the query. And I'll probably have to start moving a bit faster. I can't explain all this. I'm like doing like a mini little recap session so far. All right, open the query 5.3 query based on the table activities table in design view. Let's go there. 5.3 design view. Okay. If it can open in Datasheet view, it's good to just go see what's going on there anyway. All right, sometimes it can't because they intentionally put a problem in there. Right, they say, display all the tours where morning activities include game drives with transport, okay, or shark cage diving. Right, let's do this for the first part first. Morning activities with game drives and transport. So let's see. This is the morning activities, okay. There it shows transport. Now, do you guys know what data type this is? Checkbox is not a data type. It's a yes-no data type. Okay, so I need to keep that in mind so that I can actually enter the right criteria. So I'm going to put transport, yes. Morning activity, they said it needs to be, I've got the questions in front of me here, game drives. Let's just double check how did they write that. Game drive, do you see, not with an S, it's just game drive. So I'm just going to copy that. That's going to be the easiest. Control C, and I'm going to go to morning and paste it, Control V. Game drives with transport. Happy days. Now it says, or shark cage diving. So when you have something like this, that's like a complete, that's an or shark cage diving, then obviously it's like got nothing to do with game drives or transport. It's almost like making a second query in this first query. Then you put it on the or line and you can like create new criteria for all the different rows. So shark cage diving, let's double check how to spell that. I'm going to go to table activities. Shark viewing, shark cage diving. There you go. Right click, copy. And I'm going to go to my query and put that in the or row. Paste. Okay, shark cage diving. Now you'll see what I do is I don't put double quotation marks manually. I leave it to put double quotation marks when it needs it. Okay, so you'll see like this transport, yes, didn't need double quotation marks, but it automatically put double quotation marks by game drive. Now if I click away, it puts it around shark cage diving as well. So it's quite clever that way. Obviously you need to know to put that in if something goes wrong, but most of the time it actually works perfectly like this. So datasheet view, there you go. I've got shark cage diving, transport's irrelevant, and I've got game drives that actually have transport. Sometimes if you have lots of results, it's good just for your own sake to see whether it worked, to sort one of the columns, and then you can see, okay, so this shark cage diving isn't affected by the transport, yes, because that was in a different row. Okay, so yes, that one doesn't need transport. Okay, let's see the next query. So now we're done, 4 marks, save the query and close it. By the way, if you're working with this table and you're working with a query at the same time, you can't have the query open and edit it and open this table activities in design view. It's going to give you an error because now what you're doing, the moment you're opening the query, it's actually opening the table in the background, but as a read-only file or a read-only object. The moment you then switch to design view, you're editing it, you're editing what's going to show, but you can't now go change the underlying structure of the table as well. So you're never going to use design view of both objects at the same time. All right. Yes, I'll do more. Let me quickly see other questions at the moment. Okay. Will I do general questions? Yes, at the end. Okay. And can I show grouping examples in reports? We're going to do that. Don't worry, Megan. Okay. I'll show you more examples than what the paper asks for. Right, let's carry on with the next query. Okay, now on this one, they're actually kind enough to give us a screenshot of what the output should be. It says, create a query named Q5-7 based on the table activities table as follows. It shows me the screenshot, and it shows, note the records in the experience field. So I need to check which records actually show here. Okay. Let's undo that highlight. And the last row total is calculated in datasheet view. Right. So this last row. We're going to check that just now. Right. So I've got a screenshot. So I need 2 fields. I can see that from the screenshot, right? And I need to use table activities. Let's just quickly see experience and count of tour name. Can we see that? So in the table. There's experience, but there's nothing that says count of tour name. All right, so there's the trick. You see it says count of tour name. That little part in the beginning shows me what function was applied to that group or to that field. So the field I'm going to use is actually experience. The fields I'm going to use will be experience and tour name. Experience doesn't have a name of a function at the start. It doesn't say sum of or count of or average of or something. So that means this is actually the grouped one, the one that's grouped together so that all the adventures are grouped together, all the bikings are grouped together, and so forth. The tour name is the one where there's a function applied. Right, so let's go see how to do this. So I'm going to use the experience and the tour name fields. So I'm going to say create, and I'm using a query. I'm going to do a query. I prefer using a wizard for everything. I'm kind of like, if there's magic, why wouldn't you use it, right? So query wizard. Let's do simple query, yes, okay. And we are using the table activities table, yes. And the fields that we want are tour name and experience. I'm just double clicking on them. That's the fastest way to add them. Next, what title? They said it should be QRY5_4. Please use the right names that they've supplied. You don't want someone to not mark your work because they didn't actually find the stuff that they have to mark. Finish. All right, so now what we want to do is I want experience first. I don't know if this is going to change it on the bottom. I doubt it. And then I basically want adventure, 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 adventure to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So let's go to design view. Same thing with queries as with forms and tables. I can actually do my design view with a button there at the bottom right. Okay, so the first thing I've got to do is I've got to switch on functions or totals in this design view. So totals, if I switch it on in design view, gives me an extra row here that's called total. Okay, now I've already shown you experience needs to be first, so let's just move that. I click it with my black arrow and then I move it with my white arrow. Okay, the experience one just had the name of the field. It didn't say like it's got some other description of what function was done on it. So that's how I know that's the one that's grouped. The next one isn't grouped. It actually says it is the count of the tour name. So now we go here by the total option and I choose I want a count. So it just says count tour name, but check now on the other side. If I go to datasheet view, it shows count of tour name. You see? Actually easy if you know what to look for. Right, they could also have asked, please show, they could have just phrased it in words and they could have just said, show the number of tours per experience. That per, if it says per experience, then you know that's the one that must be grouped, whether it's in a report or in a query, doesn't matter. Okay, now let's finish this question. It said we need to note the records in the experience field. So it's got adventure, biking, culture, hiking, safari, adventure, biking, culture, hiking. Romance mustn't be there, hey? Right, so let's go remove romance. Design view, I'm going to say criteria, not romance. So not is indicated with a greater than and less than next to each other. And then I say romance, not romance. I click away and you'll see it automatically puts the double quotation marks where it's needed. I don't have to guess where I need to put it. And let's go check. You can press run as well. Run is a little bit different than datasheet view, but you don't need to worry about that. For our case in school, there's no difference. Okay, adventure, biking, culture, hiking, safari, happy days. Now they said the last row is calculated in datasheet view. Do you see here it says total 36? So if I put totals on while I'm in datasheet view, it doesn't do that grouping thing that it did in the back end when we did it in design view. So if I put totals on in the front view, in the datasheet view, it gives me a little line that says total, and I can choose what function it should do. Now, I'm guessing if the answer must be 36, it's probably going to be sum. There you go, 36. Right, save and close. All right, I'll take questions on queries when I'm done with the last query. Please put all the questions that you have regarding queries, just put a little Q at the front, then I know it's easy for me to see it. You can post it so long if you have a query about a query. Okay, let's check the last question. Where am I now? There am I. There I am. Okay. Open the query 5 query based on the table's activities table in design view. Okay. All right, let's just go see tour name, experience, duration, cost. Okay. It says, insert a calculated field hours to determine how many hours each tour will take based on the duration field. Okay, so here's duration, and I need to figure out how many hours that is. Now, I don't know how many hours it is because I don't know what that is. Don't know what the 240 is, 480 is. Okay. Display only the tours that will take a day or longer. All right, I'm going to come back to that. It says hint, refer to field descriptions in the design view of the table. Okay, so table activities table. Now let's go. Remember what I said regarding opening a query in design view and a table in design view. Actually opening a query and the same table. So let's go see if we can open this in design view. Do you see it gives me an error? It says the object that is bound to table is actually open. All right? Or another user has it open. No, another user doesn't have it open. I have it open. Okay. But I have the option to open the table as a read-only table. And that's fine because that's all I want to do. I just want to read. I don't want to change anything now. So now I can say yes. But now I can't change anything on the table itself. That's fine. So duration, it said I must look at the description. Here it says the description is duration of the activity in minutes. Okay, so we're working with minutes here. Right, I'm going to close that and let's go back. So I need to convert this to hours. So I always ask myself, what do I have and what do I need? I have minutes, I need hours. How many minutes are in an hour? 60. So then I'm just going to use that, divide by 60. Design view, I'm going to create a new field. So check here, tour name is from tables activities. Table activities, table activities, table activities. I'm going to create a new field that's not based on a table. I'm making it myself out of this query. Okay, so you can type it in straight away. If you do that, please make the field like way larger so that you can see what you're typing. You can also use the zoom option. If you use zoom, just change the font that it's nice and big. Otherwise, it's like minute small. The default is like crazy small. I prefer using the builder. Builder over here, I can then use the fields. It shows me here what fields are available in the query already. Or if I need any other fields, I can use any fields from the table. I just need to like type out the name then. Okay, so now it works the same as the calculated field in the table. Now I'm going to say it's the duration divided by 60. Say okay. Haha, all right. So now it says expr1 semicolon and duration divide by 60. Okay, let's see what that does. Datasheet view. Cool, shows me the hours, happy days, but I don't want it to say expression 1. I want it to say, let's see, it said we must call it hours. Do you see? Insert a calculated field called hours. Right, so we go back and we're going to change that expr1 to hours. Now, as far as I know, and I think I've tried it a few times in Builder, don't enter the new name and the field names all in one. First do your calculation and then afterwards go change the expression 1 to the field name. Right, so there we've got the hours, duration divide by 60. It seems like it works out perfectly. There aren't any like decimals or something. Let's just see if we haven't missed anything. So we've got a calculated hours to determine how many hours each tour will take based on the duration field. Display only the tours that will take a day or longer. All right, thank goodness we didn't miss that. Day or longer. So a day is 24 hours, I'm assuming. So a day or longer means, no, 24 hours, I don't think will be included. I'm assuming it has to be greater than 24. Let me just double check the wording. A day or longer. I think it then has to be greater than or equal to 24, because 24 is like a full day. And it said it must include a day or longer. Let's go check the memo and see if I was right. Any questions so far? I'm done with the queries. Tell me what other questions you have, please. Let's check here. It is greater than or equal to 24. All right, so I'm good. Right, the wording is a bit difficult, eh? Okay, any query questions? How do you do the sum without the builder? You don't do it without the builder. You don't do a sum. You do it with the totals option. This query 5.4, a sum, is what we do here. So this is where you change it to sum or to max or min. Anything, like, let me just show you here. If I'm in a table, any calculation that I want to do on a whole field, like not just on one record at a time, if I do a calculation on one record at a time, that's when I use the builder or I type it in straight as a new field. Anytime I want to do a calculation that involves a lot, like the whole field, or it's like basically almost like a sum the ones if it is a specific group or something, I'm still working with a whole field. If I'm working with a whole field, I have to switch on that grouping, which you find here in the design view by totals. That's where I get the options to do functions where I'm working with a whole field, like a sum, a min, a max, all of those. Okay. All right, a day is equal to 24, you're right, but the question said they want a day or longer. So that's why I made it greater than or equal to 24. Sorry for me taking a bit long. I just wanted to double check and think that, like, yeah, a full 24 is a day. Okay. So that, yeah, you can't do the sum without the builder. You can do other calculations. So let me do one. I'll do one other calculation that was a bit weird in, I think, the backup of November or something. You had to like put, or actually I think it was last November. Go check Mr. Long's video on that. He's great. He's really a fantastic YouTuber, and he did the last 2 years like official papers on YouTube as well. Mr. Long, IT and Cat, Mr. Long. That in the last one they had to do something crazy where you had to like extract a part of the ID number and then add that together with like, I think another field or something. So if let's do an example one. Let's say I want to do the ID number, the first 6 digits, plus the first 2 letters of the surname, for example, in a query. Then I would create it from this table 4, table 5.1, query, and I'm just gonna put in all the fields. I'm lazy. Okay, finish. And I'm gonna go do that. Let's do a new, no. They're at the wrong place, design view. Okay, new field, okay, and go to builder. So I want the first 6 characters of the ID number. What function does that sound like? We do that in Excel. It's left, hey? So the left, you see it actually picks it up because it shows me fx. If it doesn't do that, like if I type in, let's say round down, you see it doesn't actually pick it up, so I can't do a round down. So left, it picks it up, it's fine. So double click, opens the formula for me, or the function. Right, the left of the ID number. Do you see it shows that one as a field? You see that little icon? It shows the blue column. That means it's picking it up as a field. So the ID number, or I could just have clicked on the ID number here, double click. The left of the ID number, comma, length is, I want 6 characters. Close the bracket. And I want to add together, let's say the first 2 letters of the surname. So then to add something, I'm going to use the ampersand, okay? I've actually checked, it doesn't have concat or concatenate. It has to be another function. So I know how to use the and sign, and that's what I'm going to do to add text strings together. And I want the first 2 letters of the surname, so then I'm going to do another left as well. Left of the surname, comma, 2. You see, like capitals and things doesn't matter in Access, or field names or whatever. It's not case sensitive. Right, let's see if that works. And I'm just going to call this code new. Right. Let's see. There you go. There, I've got it. Okay. So that's how you would do that. I think that's it for queries. Any other query questions? No other questions. I see none. Okay. So I'm going to say no here because I didn't actually need this one. Let's just delete it. Let's go to reports. We're done with that. All right. Oh, it's already been 1 hour and 10 minutes, guys. This is like a full Access recap session, but I hope it helps. It's always necessary. Access is usually the most difficult, not because it's actually difficult, just because it's such a weird program. And if you don't practice it enough, then you're like completely lost. If you practice it enough, it's actually one of the easier parts of the question paper because they ask the same stuff all the time. Right. Open the report called Report 5.6 based on the table activities table. Let's do that. Report 5.6. Okay. Then it says modify the report as shown below. Okay. So what I can see that's different, experiences look the same. Now I've got 3 fields, experience, tour name, cost per person, experience, tour name, cost per person. That looks the same. The things I see that's new is this, some other calculation. And I can see, instead of saying adventure every single time here, it actually shows adventure at the top here. So basically that means it's grouped by adventure or by experience. It's grouped by experience, and the little label adventure, actually the text box adventure, the field needs to show in the group header. It mustn't show together with all the other records. Let's have a look at how to do that. So I'm going to go to my design view and just first check what's going on with my grouping and sorting. Now, if this menu wasn't already up, you could get it. Remember, design view goes with design tab. It goes with, here it is, group and sort options. Okay. Now I can see that it's actually already grouped by experience, but they must have grouped it afterwards. Okay. So we go. It is grouped. You see, adventure is all together, biking is all together. But I just want the name once. So this, I'm just going to make this red quickly to show you that this is actually the one I'm talking about in the detail section. Do you see that? That field in the detail section. I'm going to go to report view. Do you see? That's the one that I want to just show once. So I'm going to move that one up to the experience header. Move that up, experience header. And now it just shows once. See? And you can only move it on the orange, not on the little gray button or gray corner. Just changing that back to black. Right. Oh, it wasn't actually black. It was this funny gray. Let's just do format painter. There you go. Right. The other thing that I saw was a calculation. Let's try to figure out what calculation they did. 895. Now, if I look at the values here, 895 actually looks like the lowest value, hey? It's not a sum, it's not a count, it's not an average, it's the lowest value. So I'm going to do a min. All right? So I'm going to design view, and I'm going to use a text box because it looks like Excel. That's where I do my calculations. Text box, and I'm going to put it in the right area. It's in the experience header. I need it here. Now, I'm not sure how clearly, you can see my cursor quite clearly, hey? You'll see wherever I click, it puts the text box there and the label to the other side. So if I click there, it puts the text box to the right and the label to the left. Okay, so the text box, the one that says unbound, this is the one where I need to put in the calculation. So I'm going to say equals the minimum, bracket open, of cost per person. Unfortunately, I can't go click there. I've got to type it exactly like that. It's not case sensitive though, so I can go cost per person and close the bracket. The round brackets are for the function minimum. The square brackets were added automatically by Access because it picked up that it's a field name. It only picks it up if there aren't any spaces in the name. All the national papers and the provincial papers I've ever seen don't put spaces in the name of a field, so we're fine like that. Okay, cost per person minimum and report view. Right, I still need to change that. It actually has, oh, you know what I'm not doing? I'm not checking the descriptions or the notes or the, pay attention, let Val. At the bottom of the screenshot. Let's just check that. Right, it says grouping does not split over pages. I'm going to check that now. And ignore any text box borders. All right, so it doesn't matter that there's a border around this, but I do need to make it currency. So let's go here. I'm going to go to design view. I'm going to make this one currency. Format, and here I can change it to currency, or I can right click, properties, and I can change the format at the top here to currency. All right. Now, it didn't actually show text 9 or any kind of description. You see, in the screenshot, didn't show anything there. So I'm going to delete that part. Let's just check if delete works. Yay, it works. All right. You could also have right click and delete. Works as well. Okay, now they said grouping does not split over pages. So let me just show you what that means. In print preview, we can see here, do you see culture starts here, and on the next page it actually only shows the values. Okay, that's what they mean, is the whole group culture and the heading needs to stay together. So that's a new question. I think I've seen it in one paper before. It's not, so it's something that you've got to kind of figure out on the fly. They don't expect you to know it. It's not part of the curriculum. So it's something got to do with the grouping, hey? So let's go to group here. We're not adding a new group. We're just changing the group that's there already. I go click more, And here I can check, what does it say? Okay, it's grouping by the entire value, yes, not just like one letter or something. Okay, I hate using these totals. I've tried it before. I find that most people find this very confusing. Don't bother with that. Title, don't know what that is, never done that. Maybe they asked that at some point. Header section, so just go play around with it. Header section, I don't need a footer section. I could have included a footer section here with a footer section. And here's the option, do not keep grouped together on one page. That's the default. So I'm going to change that to keep whole group together on one page. Okay, let's go see, print preview. Haha, see, there's culture. Culture's not here anymore, and it is on the second page together with the records. Right, that's it. Any questions regarding reports? Jade, yes, I'm probably going to do live at the end of the year as well. It seems to be that you guys are enjoying it. I'll probably start like a week or two before and just do a paper or two. Yeah, let me know when we get there. Close to that time, I'll actually put a notification on my channel and just ask you guys which papers you want. I'll do a vote or something. All right, any other questions? Zunaid from Destinata. Nice to see you. All right, any other questions regarding reports? Let's do one report with like a funny grouping. I'm just going to try that because I know they do funny groupings sometimes. So this one, let's say the cost per person, that we want to split the cost per person in like groups of 500, that the activities only show, like these experiences, only show in intervals of 0 to 500, 500 to 1,000 and so forth. Okay, let's go do that. Create report wizard as well. There's magic, let's use it. Tour name, experience, and I'm going to put cost per person. Next. Now, I'm going to group it by cost per person, but I don't want like 1001, 1002 as separate values. I want them grouped together in that grouping. So grouping options, this is where I can change the intervals, where it's like in intervals of 500s. Okay, now say okay. Do you see it says by 500? If the first field name is some other field, by month, by quarter, by 1,000, by whatever, then it means these grouping options were used here at the bottom. Right, next. They have had one question before where they actually asked you to use the summary options here. Very uncommon, but you can have a play around there. Let's sort it over here. Sort order and summary information. I'm just going to sort it by tour name. Next, layout, stepped or block. Most of the time they just want stepped. If they specify blocked, you can change it to block. But the basic thing is instead of the header being above the group, the header of the group actually shows next to the first record. That's the big difference. Okay, outline, yeah, actually looks different. Yeah, outline doesn't show the headings of the main ones at the top. Okay, let's just use leave step. If they don't actually specify, I wouldn't go bother there. Next, and the name, we're just doing like an example, and finish. Do you see now it shows cost per person by 500s, 500 to 1,000, and it's got all of them together in one group. Now what it does is it actually still uses that same field as like just a field with all the values, and it leaves it as a group. If you didn't want that, you didn't want this one, then you would actually go delete the label and the text box there. The other kind of questions that they sometimes ask in reports, let's say we want to see what's the average price now per these groups in the footer. Then we'll go switch on footers over here. Without a footer section, we change to with a footer section, and then we use the text box option, and we're going to use equals AVG, not average. Let me show you if I typed average, what it would do. And cost per person. Okay, now if I typed average, what it does is it gives me a parameter value error. So a parameter value error means I either type the function wrong or I type the field name wrong. So if I made a spelling error in the field name and, for example, maybe put a space somewhere that I shouldn't have put a space, then I'm also going to get that error. So let's cancel that and go fix it. It's only AVG. Right. And then the text, if they say put a suitable description, then you've got to put in average cost. Right, and now it shows me the average cost for this group. You see. Other things they ask sometimes in a report would be some formatting. The formatting is actually best done in layout view, and then click on the section that you want to format and go to format. So you can actually do conditional formatting on a report as well. I can change this color that's on every other row, alternate row color. I can change it here. Let's make it like a light blue. You see, right? That's basically the kind of stuff that they ask. Sometimes they'll ask to like change the labels or like the headings, and then I've got to change these and make them bold or a different font name or something, or font color. Okay, that's it. Any report questions, access questions? Forever hold your peace. Everyone happy? I'm gonna if you want to go to the loo or make a quick coffee, 2-minute break, I'm taking questions. Give me your question if you've got any questions. Right. So I'm starting again at 24 past. Let's see. No questions so far. Let me see if I can change the timing that you can send comments on. I don't think I can change it after I've started it. Sorry, guys. I've just changed it that you can't comment if you're not a subscriber, so that I don't get spam. You're more than welcome to unsubscribe afterwards. I just want a nice clean chat so that we can actually see what's going on. No questions? Are anyone there still? Let's see how many viewers. I've got a few viewers. Yeah? Everyone happy? How many people are writing exams tomorrow? Give me or have you, I hope nobody's watching that's already written prelim. I'm so sorry if I'm probably too late. I know there's one province that's written already. When are you writing prelims? Are most people writing tomorrow? Okay, an example of conditional formatting. So let's say conditional formatting everywhere that it's romance, it needs to be pink. Okay, I'm in the layout view, clicking on experience, conditional formatting, new rule. I'm checking the value in the current record. The field value must be equal to romance. And then I'll change it what they said. Like if they want a full color, if they want a text color, let's change it to, I don't see pink. More colors, pinkish, something like that. Sure, that's very dark, eh? Oh well, standard, aha, pink. Okay, okay, apply, okay, and the romance is pink now, everywhere that it shows. Okay, any other questions? Let me see quickly. I had a conditional formatting I did. Where do you group? Okay, I'll show that again now. That's here in the design view most of the time. Group and sort. This is where you apply grouping afterwards. Always put the grouping above the sorting. So if you have another group, you can add another group to something else. Just then move it up with this little tool over here. At the, no, let me move that a bit smaller that you can see, and then you can move it up here to move it up higher if you have a group and a sort. If you're grouping from the start, I showed a report earlier where you have your fields, the grouping is done on this first step. It says, do you want to add any grouping? The next one asks, do you want to add any sorting? Okay, let's see, any other questions? I'm so glad there's lots of people tomorrow, hey? I hope it goes well, guys. I think this is going to help because it's like fresh in your memory. Right, redo experience grouping. The grouping was actually already done in the one that I had here. So let's just go back to that. So the grouping was already done. I just moved this experience field to the header. If I had to change something with the grouping itself, I could go to group and sort and change it at the bottom here. Add a group if it's already created. Best is if you're creating it from the start, just to do it from the start. Will this live be saved? I hope so. Oh, will this live stream be saved? Yes, it will be. It's automatically saved at the same link as the one that's the live stream link. Okay. Right, already started on Monday. I'm so sorry. I hope you didn't write cat on Monday, but if you did, I'm sorry. Okay, let's carry on with HTML. I'm now done with access, or as done as I can be. if you have further questions, I'll do some like random questions again right at the end. Okay, let's see if we can do HTML a bit faster. HTML, I'm not going to recap everything, guys. Okay, it's just with Access, because I know Access is usually quite difficult. Right, question 6, web design. You are required to, okay, you may not use Word, okay? You have to use Notepad++. An HTML tag sheet you get for reference. We have it here at the bottom. There it is, okay? And it says all files needed can be found in the exam folder. So they're here in the exam folder. There they are. Okay. I've already opened them so that I don't have to bother or struggle with split screen or anything. But I quite like opening it like this, that I have the HTML on the one side and the browser on the other side. To do that, you can use your Windows button and the arrow keys. Then it like changes to the different sides. You can go play around with that. Okay, now it says, let's see here. Open the incomplete. Oh, you're required to modify web pages about a new interactive virtual experience for tourists visiting Cape Town. Right. Open the incomplete 6 interactive file in a web browser and also in a text HTML editor. Right. So you've got to use it in Notepad++. So basically what you do is you right click and choose edit with Notepad++. If you don't have Notepad++, it's a free program. Notepad++. The site is notepad++.org. That's where you can go to download it, right, if you don't have it. All right, and then you can also just open it in whatever browser is your default, or if you're in Notepad++, you can choose view current file in whatever program you want. Okay, please put your word wrap on. View word wrap has to be on. Okay, now it says we've got to make it look like the example. Let me just open everything again. Here you go. Oh, last week and it helped. I'm glad. I'm sorry that I'm only doing this today. Let's go see the paper again. Right. The final web page should look like the example below. Okay. And we also always have the questions on the next page. Use the example on the previous page as a guide. Question numbers appear as comments, so leave the comments, do not delete them. All right. Now, the first thing I want to tell you that's extremely important regarding HTML is actually the size of the page. Everybody's always struggling and saying that their example doesn't look the same as this. And that's because when they do the screenshot, they open it at roughly, let's see, this ends by choose there. Let's see if we can get it to that. Oh, it actually doesn't have any of that text. So I'm going to have to first put that text in before I can get it roughly the size. But usually it's about that size, like 2/3 almost of your screen. So for things like this, where it ends with choose there and this is A, you don't actually have to put in breaks that it ends exactly there, because it's going to look different if your screen is half or if it's full screen. It's not going to look exactly like this screenshot where they have it like a portrait size so that they could take a screenshot for the paper. Okay, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Let's see the questions. So the first question, 6.1.1, insert your exam number between the center tags to display in bold text. Right, the number on the screenshot is only an example. So there. Okay, let's go look, 6.1. Okay, so 6.1, there they have the comment for me. I'm not going to delete the comment. They said between the center tag, I've got to put my exam number. Now remember, with all the other questions I told you, you're probably going to put your name for the prelim, but for the actual exam, you need to put your actual exam number. They actually check if it's the right number to give you this mark. So whatever, my number is whatever, okay? But they said it must be bold text. Did you see that? They said bold text. Bold text, okay. So let's do that in bold. So I'm going to start bold. It doesn't matter if I start bold outside or inside. I just need to be consistent with the ending of it. So if I'm going to start it on the inside, I'm going to say this must be bold. There's my bold tag, and I've got to say where it ends. It needs to end after the text. Close the bold tag. Please, guys, the bold tags must both be inside center or both be outside center. It can't be center bold, close. The closing must be the opposite of the open. So if you've started on the inside, then you need to end that tag on the inside of the other tag. You're nesting it. Okay, right. Next question. And that's an example. All right, 6.1.2. Insert HTML code so that the image appears next to the text, find your freedom, as displayed in the screenshot. All right, so this is the one they're talking about. Okay, so find your freedom must be next to this picture. So you can try, let's see what's going on here. Okay, find your freedom. It's not this one. It's this one, 6.1.2. There it is. There I have my image, and there I have my heading. Okay, the heading is in a heading 1 tag. So I can try putting the heading 1 tag before the image, and then it's basically like in the same paragraph, and let's see what that result does. Close, but it's not exactly, because you see this find your freedom, never mind the fact that it doesn't all fit in like that. It's at the bottom of the picture. It's not next to the picture in the middle like the example. Do you see that? It's actually at the center arrow. So to do that, I need to change the wrapping of the picture. So I'm going to change the wrapping of the picture. Let's just put that back. And I'm going to change the wrapping of the picture to be aligned on the left-hand side. Align left. Save. Refresh. See, there it is in the middle. Okay. Let me just show you the tags where I'm getting this from. So I'm using image align left there. Do you see? So then it can, they say bottom and top. I've never tried that, but right and left, basically what it does is it basically like wraps the image the way that you would wrap an image, wrap text in Word. Okay. And the first one was just bold. So those are the ones that we've used so far. The next question is 6.1.3, modify the horizontal line to display across 80% of the web page. So you'll see the line doesn't go all the way to the end, it's only 80%. So I go to the line, 6.1.3, there's my horizontal rule. I type it before the forward slash because the forward slash ends the row or ends the line basically. And I'm going to say the width needs to be equals to 80%. Oh, percent. There you go. Save and let's go have a look. Refresh. There you go. Right, cool. We're getting there. Next one. So for that, I found it. I know it, but I know it's on this side. HR, and there's HR. It's not size. Size is like how wide it is actually. The height here, height of the line. Width, here you go. And the example is even 80%. Oh, wow. That's like a giveaway, hey? All right. So you'll see I'm putting more than one attribute, like property, into one tag. So the blue is the tag. It goes purple when I click on it, but the blue text is the tag. The red is the property or the attribute, and then equals to whatever value I want to give it. So equals to black equals to 80%. All right, next question. 6.1.4, modify the code so that the text color above the table appears the same as in the table. So text color above the table is the same as in the table. Let's go have a look. So at the moment, in the table, it looks like black, I would assume. And above, I'm assuming they're not talking about this. I think they're talking about this thing, that's supposed to show there. Let's have a look. Oh, no wonder, the background is gold, pale goldenrod. There the stuff is. Okay, so the font color needs to be black the same. So, gosh, I wonder if you actually take that away, if it won't work anyway. Like if I take it away completely. Save, refresh. No, it mustn't be that color. Hey, it has to be this black. So undo that, undo. And I'm going to change the color to black. Right, now just check here. If I click on it, it goes purple, but it shows the end like after the table. I don't think that's what it means. It has to just be this text at the top here. Wine farm to find your freedom. So I'm going to fix this tag. Do you see this tag is wrong? It actually shows the / after font. So I'm going to change it to before font because that's how I end the font tag. Just to show you there. Font and close font. Right, I'm actually doing the color one. So this one. Right. Let's go back and see if that worked. And save and refresh. There you go. Happy days. Seems to have worked. Next question. Can I do a mail merge? All right, I'll do that afterwards. Please don't forget the nested if when I'm finished. Okay, I'm still a while, guys. I still have question 6, 7, and then I'll see. Right, I might just refer you to other videos. Let's see. 6.1.5. Insert the 6 urban image to match the other images as shown in the screenshot. So I'm assuming it's this one because this one is not showing at the moment, right? So let's go see what they've given us. It's 6.1.5. There's my question, and I need to insert the picture here. So it shows me, I can actually see, there's the first image, there's the second image. I need to now insert the third image here in the middle. So it's already got the right width, but I need to change the height. I can see that's not there. And I need to put in a source. I need to say what the name is, hey? So let's go find the name. In my File Explorer, I need to switch on file name extensions. Please switch on file name extensions. And then I can see, it's 6.1 urban, slow double click or right click rename. And then I can go right click and copy that with the file extension. Right, pop it in there. Paste. Cool. Let's see if that works. Save and refresh. Yes. Okay. I'm assuming I probably can't see the colors in the black and white picture of the paper. So that's fine. I can't imagine that there are color differences. All right. So I did 2 things. Hey, I did the height or the width. Can't remember which one. And I put the image in. So I can see it's 2 marks. It's fine. I did 2 things. Now, 6.1.6. Modify the code so that the words discovering flowers will display on the next line with no open line between the text. What? 6.1.6. Here you go. Okay, it's hobbies. Let's just check the screenshot so that we know what they're talking about. It's here. Discovering flowers. Just go check here. All right, it has to be on the next line. It currently is on the next line with no open line between the text. Well, it's actually working already, but let's try. Sorry for that loud slip. Do you see if I make it larger, it actually doesn't stay on the next line. So for safety's sake, to make it stay on the next line always, I'm going to go put in a break. So discovering flowers needs to be break. Right. With these, I can either put in the / at the end because it's a self-closing tag, or I can leave it out. Both of those alternative are accepted. So 6.1.6, and let's go down. Break is here. See, and they allow it with or without the / at the end. If you put a / in, it has to be at the end. Right, so now that I've done that, save and refresh. And now if I resize this and it goes bigger, you'll see it doesn't actually move to the line above. Right, Shantay, het ek sleg verduidelik. Wat's fout met 6.1.5? Okay. Shantay, as jy die vraag net gemis het, 6.1.5, dan kan jy teruggaan in die video in. As jy wil hê ek moet dit weer verduidelik want ek was de mekaar, sê net gou vir my. Okay, she wants me to do 6.1.5 again. I just don't want to do it if you just missed it. If I explained terribly, then I'll do it again. Right, 6.1.7. Let's see the last question. No, it's not last, second last. Edit the numbered list in the second column to appear the same as the other two lists found in the last row of the table. So, it looks like they are supposed to all be square bullets, you see. Let's go try that and see what it looks like at the moment. At the moment it's a numbered list. I want square bullets. So, I'm going to go and use this code to make it bullets, and I'm going to choose the type as square. Okay. They already have a list item for each bullet because it's got a number, each of them, but we'll double check that just now. Okay, so by 6.1.7, it mustn't be a OL, an ordered list, it should be a UL, that's square. Let's just copy and paste that. And it's actually already closed correctly. It shows 3 list items, list item open, closed, open, closed, open, closed, save, refresh. There you go. Let's just double check that it matches the screenshot. 3 items. All good. Right. 6.1.8. Modify the code so that the link will direct the user to the web address given in the data. Links. We all love links, hey? 6.1.8. All right, it shows there's a hyperlink or an anchor, but it's not a hyperlink at the moment. It says choose your character. Let's just see what it looks like at the moment. It's not a link. You see, I can't click it. It's not clickable. Right, so for links, something that links to another page or to another place or to another file or to a web page has to have an href, hyperlink reference. Okay, it can't be name. Name is just a target location that's basically invisible. It can be anywhere on the page, but it's invisible. It's not something that you can move to. Href is the one you can move to. So let's change that. Instead of name, I'm just going to make it href, and let's see, save, refresh, there's a link. Okay, doesn't help that I test it because your internet should be off in the class when you're actually doing the paper. All right, let's see. If I did everything, it was just 1 mark, so that must be it. Okay, save and close the 6 interactive file. Okay, if anyone else thinks I explained 6.1.5 poorly or I wasn't clear, please tell me and then I'll redo it, but I'd prefer to carry on now, and you can just go back to watch it again. Right, so I'm going to close it, and I'm going to carry on with the next one, with the next question. 6.2. Now they're doing this lately all the time, where they actually like give you a screenshot and you've got to figure out the whole thing by yourself. Let's see. Open the incomplete 262 big 6 file. I've already done that in a web browser and in a text editor. Modify it so that it looks like the example below. Please check the notes. It says note the spacing of the cells between the cells is 50 and it's for 5 marks. So there will be 5 things that we need to do. All right. So, the size of the spacing between the cells. Whoa, what's going on here? All right, let's just open the code and see what's going on here. All right, so the size of the spacing between the cells. Let's see if we can find the table tag. Where does table start? Center H1, border 1, TR. No. Okay, it actually just has a bunch of rows. It doesn't have an opening tag for table. Right, so I'm going to open table. Here, I'm assuming, let's just double check, it's under Cape Town Big Sis that the table starts, yes. Okay, so we'll do the table here. It's actually quite good, even if the table doesn't need to have frame in the end to put a border in just for the start so that you can see what you're doing. So refresh. Haha. All right, I can see what I'm doing. And they said the spacing. Did they say the spacing? The spacing between the cells is 50. All right, so that's cell spacing. So I'm going to insert cell spacing as an extra attribute. It goes with table. Now, because it's just a number, I technically don't need my double quotation marks. But you know what? It's good practice to just do it for all of them. Save, and let's go see. Refresh. All right, we've got these big spaces. Okay, I'll just show you where I found this. This is all here. Table and cell spacing. All right. Next up, they don't say. We've got to find 4 other things we're changing. So we shouldn't put in a border, so I'm definitely going to take that out. I just want to see what's going on with this image, because at the moment, the image is just showing for the first cell. Do you see that? And it looks like the whole image, the whole picture are all of these arrows. So it seems to be like one picture with all the arrows, but it's supposed to go down all the way. Do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, down 6 rows. So let's go and see. First row, first cell is this VA waterfront. Second cell is the image. There we've got the image. They've already started the property for us. We need to just fill in. Does it span across rows or does it span across columns? It spans across rows, hey? All right, so it's a row span and we want to span it across 6 rows because there are 6 rows. Save. Haha. Okay. We've got that. So that's one thing we did. Could be 2 because we put row span and we put 6. The other thing I can see so far is this Groot Constantia wine farm that's got a shading, or that doesn't have a shading, that should have a shading. So let's go put that in. So Cape Point wine farm. There you go. So I'm just going to do exactly the same as they did here. THBG color, THBG color. Save and refresh. There you go. Right, let's remove the border now and see how far we are. Are we close to what it looks like? Save, refresh. Okay, let's see the size and see if it looks close to what the paper is showing. Okay, Cape Town Big 6, Cape Town Big 6, V&A Waterfront, Cape Point, Constantia, Kirstenbosch, yes, yes. Right, and on the other side it says Table Mountain from the mountains, Table Mountain from the moment, yeah. Okay, sprawling, what awaits. Yeah, and these are also centered. Okay, I think that's it, guys. We did the shading. We did the image row span. We changed and that could have been 2 marks. And we changed the spacing in between the cells. Okay. We also kind of removed, and we added a table tag, hey? So we did 5 things. There you go. Done. Right. Nobody else is saying 6.1.5 was unclear, so I'm going to assume that it was all right. So Shantae, just go have a look back at the video when you get a chance. Just rewind. Right, so we're done with HTML. Any other HTML questions? Give you a minute or 2. Just going to blow my nose quickly. I feel quite stuffy. Give me a question or 2 if you need anything. Everyone fine? No questions? Okay, if you've got any other questions regarding HTML, you can post it and I'll do it. I'll try to do it at the end. Our time is a bit high again, right? All right, so next question. And it says 1 mark will be allocated for the right closing tags and nesting, which we did. Nesting was that bold that was on the insert, and we put like the closing tag, we fixed like the closing tag for the font and things like that. Right, question 7. Finally there. I'm just going to close this one. Question 7. Which one are we opening? Let's have a look. Open the 7 Cape Town word processing document. Background image. Oh, of a HTML. That's not in the curriculum. If they ask that, that's like a curveball question. We can try that now. 7 Cape Town. Open. Okay. And let's see what they ask. Change the inside borders of the table to any blue color. Okay. So any blue color. So I'm going to select all of it. And table design, I'm going to change the color to any blue, but that's the correct blue. And I'm going to choose, I'm not going to use my border painter, I'm going to choose this one, inside borders. There you go. Now all the inside borders are right. Okay. Now the next one says, modify the heading row of the table to appear as shown below. Tourist name, surname, visits, points. Okay, let's see. Do you see these should be 2 cells? So I can right click on it and choose split cells. Or, remember what I say, if we've got new tabs, like new tabs appeared because I clicked on tourist name, then I have to use one of these 2. And there we can find split cells as well. So split cells, it automatically knows 2 columns in 1 row. I could have changed that, but it's clever enough to do it for me. Right, hyperlink examples. Okay, we'll do that at the end. Let me just finish the paper quickly. Okay. All right, next one. A tourist receives points that can be used as a discount on future travels. Insert a formula to calculate the points for LNL as follows. Determine the total visits from 2020 to 2023. Let's do that first. So LNL, so 20 to 2023, so it will be these 2 I've got to add together. So I'm going to click in the points column and I'm going to use a formula option on the ribbon for Word. Formula. Sum, it's not above, it's sum left. You can do left, right, above, below, and you can actually even work out the cells. So this would be column C, A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could have said C6 to D6, but we're not going to do that. We can just say sum left. Okay, there we've got it. Right, now it says, display 1,000 if the total visits are more than 5. Otherwise, display 500. Oh my goodness, that sounds like an if. We've never done an if in Word, but let's try it. Okay, so I'm actually going to edit this, edit field. I could just also click on formula there again, but I can go back into it like this. Now I'm going to say, if the answer of this sum left is, let's just check what they said again, more than 5. If that is more than 5, then value if true is, it should be 1,000. Value if false is, it should be 500. Close bracket. Okay. There you go. How cool is that? Didn't even know you could do an if there. But we learn things every day. Right, save and close the 7 Cape Town word processing document. Save and close. Now, open the 7 tourists spreadsheet. Okay. First thing is do the following. Work in the list worksheet. Yes, I'm on list. And it says do the following. Apply a spreadsheet feature to column A to arrange the text into columns. Okay. Whenever they use the wording a spreadsheet feature, then it means you're not doing it manually, you're not doing it with a function or a formula, you're actually doing it with an option on the ribbon. So the wording spreadsheet feature or sigblad eienskap means it's actually somewhere on the ribbon you can do this. To arrange the text into columns. So let's see, I'm going to select this and search. Columns, convert text to table, kind of a table, split a single column into multiple columns. That could work. Let's just try text, convert text to table. Yeah, it's probably that one. I'm just quickly going to check. I remember on data, there was a text to columns. That's interesting that it actually didn't pop up when I searched those words. Okay, I'm sure if you used the table one, it should have been correct as well, because you still end up with it in columns. But I'm going to use this one. Text to columns. Now, I need to choose, is it delimited or does it have a fixed width? Now, delimited means there's like something splitting it. So there's like a comma or a tab or a hashtag or a something. Fixed width means it actually is like an equal size. They put extra spaces or something in. Now, fixed width I don't think would be the right one, because there's clearly not like the same width for all of them. So it has to be delimited. Let's go see which delimiter. It actually picks it up itself. Tab. And you see here in the data preview, it shows me that it's correct. Fantastic. Okay. Next, now I can use the columns to change like the data format. Now, in this instance, I didn't need to do it. But if you ever do need to, something like this general date of birth, I would have to specify that it's a date in the year, month, day format. If I didn't do that and I just leave it on general, then you wouldn't be able to do any calculations on it. Okay, but let's see how many marks this counts. It says find and replace with no in a red font. So that's going to be 2 marks. So this thing is just 1 mark, so I don't need to worry. Philip, it's in the chat. Not in the chat, in the description below the video. I've got a link there. Right. Finish. Let's see what that looks like. And it actually split it into different columns. Let's try if we did that table one, convert text to table. We get the same thing. Next, finish. It actually worked the same, so we could have used that. All right. Next is find and replace all occurrences of the word maybe with the word no in a red font. So I'm going to go to find and replace. I can search replace as well. Then I know replace, find and select, replace. Okay, find the word maybe and replace it with no in a red font. So let's go to options, format, and why is this not? There we go. Font, color, red. Remember, I've got to wait for the red name and check that I'm choosing the right red. There you go. Let's just double check quickly. Did it say maybe with a capital? Okay, with the word no in a red font. So let's just do it like that. Maybe it's case sensitive. I'm not sure. No. Right. And here I can change. Does it need to look in the sheet or the whole workbook? No. Does it need to match the entire cell? Probably, but I don't have to worry about that now. I can check here if it needs to look in formulas and things like that as well. All right, so let's just find the next one and see if it's picking it up correctly. Yes, that's the right one. Replace, replace. Okay, I'm not seeing any issues, so I'm going to say replace all, and now it's finished it. Okay, so all the maybes have changed to no in red. Happy days. We're finished with 7.2.1. Now, 7.2.2, details worksheet. All right, let's see the question. 5 marks. So this is going to be a substantial question. Right. Every year, a tourist receives a message 1 month before their birthday about a special voucher that they can use when they book a trip. Okay. Use a combination of functions in cell D2 to determine the date in the current year on which Adrian Barnard received or will receive a message. The current year must be entered as a function. Oh, that's kind of them to actually say that. Usually they just say current year and you've got to know, you've got to use today. All right, so basically what we want to do is to know when he's going to receive a message, and it has to be exactly 1 month before his birthday, but in the current year. So let's go check. Help me think. How do I get the current date? That's today, right? I don't see any building block, a building block area. So I'm just going to help myself here and figure it out. If I want the current year, I'm going to have to say the year of what serial number? The serial number of today. So now I can click on that one. There, it's 2023. And then I need to use the same month and the same day. So to do that, I'm basically playing Humpty Dumpty and I'm breaking things apart and then I'm going to put it back together. So the function I use is date. Now, let's go have a look. The function arguments show me that the year must be a number from 1900 or 1904 to 9999. Okay. If I click on 2023, it's perfect. It's a whole year. It needs to be that format. I can't just click on that date because it's actually a date way higher, or a value way higher than what they said it should be. So I need just the number of the year. So I've already done that in the year function. Carry on where I know it stopped. Can everyone hear me still? Is there still anyone there? Yeah, we still have a few viewers. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Signs of life. Okay, I'm not seeing anything yet, but I am connected, so I'm assuming everyone can hear me again. So let's carry on with this function, this combination of functions. So what I did here is I took today's date and I extracted only the year. Okay, yes, you guys can hear me again. Thanks so much. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I have to use this year, but the rest of this date. So the 12th of June, hey? Right. Thanks, everyone. I think the messages come out a bit slow. Right. So let's use the function date. That's exactly what this is for. Date is to assemble different numbers into a date format. So the first thing I want to assemble, let's just use our function builder, is the year. Now the year, I'm going to click over there and it's correct. It's using 2023 and it's like an actual year of a date. Month, I have to use a month number from 1 to 12. Okay, so if I click here, it shows me the full date. Do you see? It shows 35,958. That's the full date's serial number. So I just want the month of that. So I'm going to say month of C2, and then it gives me a 6. Okay. Don't worry, if you need to add a year and a half, you can add 18 months. It will just go over into the next year. So it's not that it can't be higher than 12, but it should be something about a month. Okay. And the day should be the same as the day of their actual birth date. There you go. And you see the answer is 12. So now I've got 2023, the 6th month, the 12th day. I didn't have to just replace or refer to building blocks that I used. If I wanted to, I could have said the year of today, but today is giving me a serial number, remember? So I want the year of today. So then I could have typed it like that if I wanted to do the whole function in one. Right. And I can say okay, and there I have the year of today. And if I copy it down, it does give me the right values for the other ones. I wonder why this one, it should be a month before. I missed the question. Let's see. 1 month before their birthday. Almost forgot that. All right, so let's go back in. 1 month before, so it'll be -1. Do you see I'm typing outside the bracket? There you go. Okay, now it should be right. Yes, it's right for the all the rest. Okay, that's it for this one. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? No, that's the end of the paper. Fantastic. Guys, well done for sticking it out this long. I'm glad we're done. I will now take a few questions. I'm not going to stay much longer than 6:15. I've got a sick cat that I've got to go give a drip to at home. He's got kidney disease, and my husband's working late tonight. So let me do 1 or 2 questions for you guys. I saw someone wanted mail merge. Someone wanted, and if you're not staying for the questions, thanks for coming. Good luck for your exams if you're writing tomorrow or whenever. I hope it helped. Okay, I'll see you again sometime before finals. Just if you want to stay subscribed, then you'll easily get notified if I've got a new live stream, but I'll post it for all the teachers again. All right, so I saw someone wanted to see more links in HTML, and I saw someone wanted a mail merge example. Those are the ones I can remember. If you've got another question, just post the question again, and then I can give a try for you. I see someone wanted a background image, I'm assuming in HTML. I'm not going to do that. Number 1, because I'm not sure how. Number 2, it's only been asked once, and it was supposed to be a question that you don't know how, and they just give you half the information. So if you get a question like that again, they will give you enough information because it's not on the tag sheet. Anything that's not on the tag sheet, They kind of have to give you so much information that it's easy to figure out. Okay, I'm glad it helped everyone. Let's quickly do another hyperlink example, and then I'll do a mail merge example. All right, so I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to open it in Chrome. Okay, and let's do another hyperlink or two. So for hyperlinks, you get a few types of hyperlinks. The main hyperlink, like I can make even this picture into a hyperlink. You'll see it actually shows you here at the end of the paper how to do that. There's a picture hyperlink. So a hyperlink, you've got an anchor at the front and you've got an anchor at the back. Between that, you need to have something. It has to be an image or a table or a word or whatever, because that's the thing that you click on to actually go to the link. So let's do an image hyperlink. So then we'll be here and I'll go image, anchor open at the front, and anchor close at the end. All right, I'll do the line numbers just now, or the Roman number line with Roman figures, sure. Right, so anchor open, anchor close. That's not going to change anything yet. I need to now say hyperlink reference. So hyperlink reference equals, and then I've got to put in wherever I want to go. So let's say for argument's sake, I want to go to Google. Then I'll put in http google.com. It actually doesn't work if you just put www, but if they asked for that in the paper, do that. Okay, so let's save and see if that would work. Refresh, and it doesn't look different, but you'll see if I put my mouse over it, if I hover my cursor over it, it now is a link. I can click on it and it goes to Google. Happy days. Sorry, I'm saying happy days all the time. I realize I'm probably irritating some of you. Okay, let's do a hyperlink on text. So find your freedom. If I want this as a hyperlink, where are we going to go? Let's say we want to open a file for this one. Then I'm going to say href, and the file name plus extension needs to go here in the middle. So let's see, what file am I going to link to? Let's link to mountain.doc. Or I can even, let's link to a picture. Link to that picture. And I say yes, it has to be a picture that's in the same folder. So now I have a hyperlink on the text, and if I click that, it opens the picture. Okay, right. Last type of hyperlink I want to show you is how to move around, to do movements. Okay, so let's say I want a button at the top here that says go to the bottom. Okay, so not a button, just text. Okay, so I'm going to put text in a paragraph. So then I'm going to say go to the bottom. Okay. Now, in order to move to the bottom, I need to have a way to define where bottom is. And that I do by creating an anchor name. I do this one, anchor name. Okay. It doesn't actually have to be around anything. It can just be like that without anything in between, because I'm just defining a location, a target location. So let's go all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to say, I don't need to put text, so I can just say anchor name equals, and let's call it bottom. Okay, close the anchor opening tag and then close the full anchor tag. Okay, there you go. So save and refresh. Now, all that has done is that's now put the text in, because at the top I had a paragraph. Do you see? Go to bottom. And at the bottom, nothing's changed because I didn't put any text there. I just put like an invisible anchor that's defining the location. But now that I've defined it, I can link to it. So let's go back to the top. And I'm going to make the word bottom the link. So that means the anchor will be around bottom, like that. And the hyperlink reference, So because we do want a hyperlink as well, will be that location. Now, I can't just put the word bottom in because it won't know, is it looking for bottom the file, bottom the website, bottom the location. If I want to say look for a location, then I've got to put in a hashtag. So hashtag bottom. So this is the same name that I used here. I can name both of them anything else if I wanted. Save, refresh, and now I've got my link. If I click on it, it moves the page down to the bottom as far as it can. All right, those are hyperlinks. You wanted to see line numbers with Roman figures, so I'm going to change one of these to numbers again. So let's just change the first one, unordered list. Sure, this is very bad coding that the TD is outside the unordered list. I don't think you were supposed to fix that, but there you go. Okay. I'm not going to resend the paper and files. It's in the description of the video. Just check there and you can download it. Okay. Right, so I'm going to change this to an ordered list because then it's going to be numbers. Ordered list. Save, refresh. Now we've got numbers. Now by type, we can put in the type that we want. If we want ABC, then we put a lowercase a. Then it's going to be lowercase ABC. If we want Roman numericals in lowercase, then I'll put a lowercase I. I just put the first one and it'll do it for me. If I want to uppercase I, then it's going to put all of them in uppercase, Roman numericals. You see? Okay. And then in HTML, I think that's it. I don't think I saw any other questions in HTML. I hope I'm not forgetting something. And then I'll just do a mail merge example. Okay. Let me close this. And for mail merge, I'm actually just going to open something that's got to do with mail merge. So let me go find that quickly. Okay, so I've got these exercise booklets. If you want to get them, they're all on the website that I shared yesterday. I'll just share it again quickly. I'm sharing in the chat now. You can find it there on the practical page. I've got these little exercise booklets. They are fantastic for revision. Okay, so here you can see it's split between Word, Excel, Access Theory. If I go to Word, it's actually got the different chapters there. It's got mail merge, and then it's got lots of old questions from past papers. So let's do, I don't want to do this funny, weird one. Let's do a normal-ish one. No, that was also a weird one. Let's do this one. Okay. So June 2018. I'm just going to open it's Word, June 2018. And I'm going to use these. Let's see. It says open the 7 merge document. So this is, it's June 18.2. It's a backup paper. So it's that one. All right, merge document. So I'm just going to switch off my file name extensions. Right, so 7 merge will be my template from Word that I'm using. They usually give you a form of a template. Okay, so there you go. I've got it open, enable. Oh, now I'm still showing you one that's weird, but okay. At least I know what the solution is of this one. All right, so I can see this one looks like an envelope, hey? So it says, which will be used in a mail merge. Insert your exam number in the header or footer. You know how to do that already. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do the mail merge part. Okay, prepare a mail merge document for each guest as follows. Now it's telling me which database to use, but first I need to choose what type of mail merge I'm doing. So I'm on the mailings tab. I always start at start and end at finish. Start mail merge. I'm not making a letter. A letter is like when it's a full page thing. It's not an email message, it's an envelope this time. So envelopes. Okay. Why is it? Oh, it's just picking up envelopes. Now if I change this now, it's going to change the layout. I don't need to change it. It's an envelope, right? Now, the second thing they said is use the 7 guest database. So for mail merge, you'll always get a template and you'll always get, well, almost always get a template and you'll always get a database that you're going to link to the template. So I'm going to use the 7 guest database. I do that in the second step of the start mail merge wizard. Do you see, or it's not a wizard, it's just like the steps on here. I'm not a big fan of the mail merge wizard. Okay. Do you see none of these buttons are available yet? I need to actually first link the database to it before it becomes available for me. So select recipients. I'm using an existing list. They've given me the data, right? So now I've got to go find it. No. Word, June 2018. 7 guests. Okay. If there were more than one table in the database, it would have first popped up and asked me which table or which query to use, but the fact that it didn't pop up means there was only one table. Okay. Next part of the question says, sort the list alphabetically according to the surname field. So that is where I do it here by the edit recipient list. Sometimes they specifically say edit recipient list. In Afrikaans, it's hectic. It actually says redigeer die ontvangerlys. Then it means you have to do it here. Okay. And we've got to sort the surname. So I'm going to sort the surname here, sort ascending, or I can do sort over here and choose sort by surname. Okay. If I need to do a filter that I just need specific ones, I would do it here by filter and I would choose the fields, or I could use the drop down as well. Okay. Next, it says insert the postcode merge field. All right. So what we've done so far is we've got our template, we've got our database. We've linked these two when we said choose a database. Choose, what does it say? Select recipients. Okay. Now we've said, okay, this database, before we enter it, please sort the names in order. Now they say we've got to start preparing the letter or preparing the envelope by inserting the fields. Now what that means, let's just see how they phrase it. They say insert the postcode merge field from the 7 guest database. Okay. Below the town merge field. Let's go see. So there's town. Oh, it already works. Do you see that? If I click on it, it goes gray, which means these headings were actually present in the database. So now they want us to put the same thing by postcode. So I'm going to select this postcode place that they showed us by using these greater than or less than symbols. And I'm going to choose insert merge field. You see now all of these are available. So what I'm doing when I say insert merge field is I'm basically saying from this database, I want the database, a specific column or a specific field to be at this position in the Word file. Okay, so now I'm going to say postcode. Okay. Now, I'm done with this group. I need to do one thing per group. Okay. In this group, there's nothing else that I need to do now. In the next group, I like to preview to check whether it works. It seems to be working. Fantastic. Okay. Last step is when I want to complete the merge between the template and the database and create a new file that's not linked to the database anymore, but which I can print or I can do whatever with. So they say, complete the merge and save the document as 7E merge. So if I look at this now, at the moment I have one page. At the moment it's linked to my database because it's showing me all of these options here in Word. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the merge. I say finish and merge, edit individual documents, merge all records. Okay. Now what it did is it gave me a new document called envelopes 1, and it's still one page, and it seemed to have put all the envelopes in one. That's a mess. Okay. Only reason this happened was because there wasn't a section break on the page. I don't know if they actually needed you to do that or know that, but that's what was missing. If I go to show hide, you'll see there's no section break. If you actually put a section break in, it's probably going to go behind these. Let's see. Then it's going to work. Okay, let's just get that higher again. Let's go backspace and see if I can get that here. I'm going to put this whole thing over there. And I'm going to see if I can remove that or get it on the same page. No, it's not going away. So it's going to stay there. Don't care. Now if I merge it, edit individual, all records. Do you see it's putting a blank page in between them. But I don't think you were actually supposed to fix that, like troubleshooting. I'll check the memo just now. But yeah, there it shows me all the different envelopes. So now I have way more than the one page. That's how I know I've completed it. And it's not linked to my database anymore. This completed merge. So it's a new document, not the original data, not the original file. It's a new file with more pages, not linked to the database anymore. That's the one that I'm going to give the new name. And they said the new name is eMerge. So I'm going to go File, Save As, same folder, eMerge. Okay, and then I say Save. Now this is actually on our public drive where everyone can access everything, so I'm not going to save. In this instance, close without saving. And the original file, I'm also going to close without saving, just for this example, because I don't want to change the original on our public network drive. But you would normally say, yes, you want to save the original. Let me go save it somewhere else. I'm going to say File, Save As, just so I can show you what it looks like. So if it's saved and I open it again, you'll see it actually gives me this little message that shows that I linked it to a specific place, and it shows me if I put in any filters or sorting. And you actually, if you want to go back and edit the document, you've actually got to say yes so that it links them again. Otherwise, it breaks the link. Okay. That's it for the merge. All right, guys. I need to go. Ooh, I'm way late now, hey? I wanted to finish 10 minutes earlier. I've got to go. Fortunate. I do theory work, but mainly in Afrikaans. So there's lots of videos on my channel in Afrikaans on theory. I don't really know how I would do a past paper in a theory for theory. I think you've just got to go check the past papers for theory and check the question, think what you would have answered for those many marks, and then check the memo. That's the best way to do it. If you guys can think of how I should do theory videos, please, like theory past paper videos, please give me a comment and tell me what you want or how you think I would do it. Okay, guys, that's me for the day. I hope it helped. Have a great day, and I will see you again next term, probably. Hope the practical goes well. Come back and let me know how it went, if there was any similar questions. Okay, or were any similar questions. Bye, guys.